He is a member of the House Oversight Committee. President Trump is responding to the release of those emails, the huge tranche of emails from the Jeffrey Epstein estate, saying this: the Democrats are trying to bring up the Jeffrey Epstein hoax again because they'll do anything at all to deflect on how badly they've done in the shutdown and so many other subjects. Only a very bad or stupid Republican would fall into that trap. I'm just curious how you're responding to that this morning.
Well, yesterday was an extraordinary day. I remember the pictures of President Obama in the White House Situation Room watching the operation that led to the death of Osama bin Laden and all of the other history and history-making decisions made in that room. For President Trump in the White House yesterday to use that room to browbeat Republican members of Congress to aid and abet their cover-up for the pedophile Jeffrey Epstein is really an astounding development in American history. And look, the emails released yesterday were a bombshell, in my view, clearly demonstrating much closer ties between Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein's crimes than we previously knew. But there's a lot more investigative work to be done to get to the bottom of it. There's a simple answer for Donald Trump: release the files. And then if he's innocent, did nothing wrong, he can put all this behind him and move on with the rest of his agenda. Why isn't he willing to do that?
The Speaker of the House says he is going to finally put forward a vote on releasing those files, the Epstein files, on the investigation, but has not committed to a vote on expanding the Obamacare subsidies. How does it sit with you that the thing that is going to cost Americans their health care is on the back burner and the Epstein files will be voted on first?
Well, look, we have had all year to address the Affordable Care Act tax credits. Democrats have begged and pleaded and yelled and screamed for our Republican colleagues to address this health care crisis facing the American people. I have a constituent, Jack. He's 25 years old. He and his wife are expecting a baby at the end of this month. Their premiums are going to go from $800 a month to $1,600 a month. They can't afford it, and those stories abound across the country. So we should have addressed it. We should have addressed it last night. I hope the Senate will make progress in December. If not, we're going to continue to fight to address the healthcare affordability crisis next year. But the Jeffrey Epstein cover-up is also a significant issue that millions of Americans are deeply concerned about. And again, simple answer: we can put it behind us, release the files, let the American people see what they think.
All right. I do want to ask you a little bit more about insurance coverage, because we just talked to a family who said they are going to have to go without insurance because theirs nearly tripled. The president revealed an idea that he has to deal with insurance coverage. Instead of going to insurance companies, he's saying these subsidies, and he wants the money to go into an account for people where people buy their own health insurance. Do you think that is a good idea, something worth talking to the president about and negotiating over?
Well, that already exists. We have health savings accounts, and they tend to work for higher income families, upper middle class income families. But what you just described wouldn't work for my constituent Jack and his wife. They wouldn't be able to afford to put money into that account. What's working for them now is the Affordable Care Act and the Affordable Care Act tax credits. And look, we can extend those tax credits, and Democrats put forward a bill this week to extend them for 3 years and engage in an ongoing dialogue and debate about how best to bring down health care costs for the American people.
I think you voted against passing the budget to reopen the government, which will only fund the government until the end of January. Will you vote to shut down the government again if these ACA subsidies are not brought up for a vote?
Well, the agreement that passed last night runs through January 30th, and it is my sincere and strong hope that before then, before the end of this year, we will extend the ACA tax credits. Of course, by January 30th, if Congress doesn't act, folks will already be paying those higher prices. For me, when I looked at the agreement that was on the floor last night, the Republican plan, it didn't address the health care crisis. It also didn't give federal agencies and federal workers the long-term protections that I felt they need. I represent 55,000 federal workers, thousands of whom have been fired by the Trump administration over the last 11 months. And unfortunately, with this deal after January 30th, those firings can continue.
Are you mad at senators who voted to let this come to the House, and then a few of the Democrats who voted on the House to put this bill through and refund the government and fund the government?
I disagree with the 8 Senate Democrats who negotiated this deal, but that's a disagreement. To answer your question, I'm mad, I'm angry at Republicans here in Congress who, rather than address the health care affordability crisis they helped create with the largest cut to health care in American history, shut down the House of Representatives for 55 days, refused to even sit down and negotiate with House Democrats like myself, and seemed perfectly content to let the health care premiums of constituents like Jack double or sometimes triple over the course of next year. That's what I'm mad about.
Congressman James Walkinshaw, I do appreciate your time this morning. Thank you so much. All right, ahead.